This is the Crowd Crux Crowdfunding Podcast with Sal Brigman, where we cover everything you need to know to launch a successful crowdfunding campaign. We speak with proven entrepreneurs who've raised money from the crowd and want to teach you how to do the same. Stay tuned because we're about to reveal how to launch your dream project. With your host, Sal Brigman.
What up, what up? Salvador Brigman here with the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Hope you're having a great day, and I have a very exciting interview for you today. I interviewed Phoebe, who is the marketing manager at iQ. And iQ is a personal vision tracker for your smartphone. Basically, it's kind of like at-home vision care. You can test your vision, and depending on the results, you can order new glasses, etc. This campaign raised over $130,000 on Kickstarter, a very impressive raise. Nearly 4,000 backers pledged to this campaign. And the reason I wanted to interview this campaign was they have a very interesting fundraising trajectory. So basically, this campaign for pretty much the first 14 days was flatlining. They weren't seeing the results that they wanted. Quite simply, there weren't enough people backing the campaign to really give them that sense that, like, yeah, this is going to be taking off. And then around day 14, they changed something. They reworked the campaign, they changed around a few things, and then they did something which Phoebe will get more into to get the word out, and then they just saw their results skyrocket. Like, I'm looking here at the Kicktrack statistics. Over the next 14, 15 days, they ended up raising over 500% of their $25,000 goal. That's phenomenal, guys. I mean, they surpassed their goal in the next 4 days, and they just went on to raise more and more money. And I think it's really the classic, if you have a great product, you also have to know how to communicate it, and you also have to communicate it to the right people. So you're going to learn more about that on this podcast episode. The other thing I just wanted to quickly share before we got into this episode, and I'm opening my smartphone here. So I was looking at my Instagram profile. I actually haven't checked it in a while. It's just Crowd Crux if you want to hit me up. And I was getting a lot of messages from people who were interested in my book. So my recent book I wrote about, maybe published it a month and a half ago, the Kickstarter launch formula. And honestly, I have been blown away by the response from you guys. Like, I have people commenting here, how can I get this book? Congratulations. Actually, let me shout out these people's names. Photo Plus Concept says, how can I get the book? Cassia Kruk says, congratulations. I follow your podcast religiously. Where can I get the book? Have other people asking where they can buy it, etc., where they can get a copy. Hera Keys, where can I purchase this book? I'm blown away. Like, I did not expect this level of engagement. And also, I've noticed more and more people have been emailing me about the book after they've read it. I've had people who have posted Facebook messages and tagged me in it, like a photo of them reading the book. And there's just one really funny dog photo where the book is in front of the dog. So I've been getting a lot of engagement from the readers and listeners of my blog and this podcast. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. It feels amazing to me. If anyone else out there has written a book, you know that it's kind of a thankless activity for a very long time. You're working really hard, you're putting in long hours, you're writing a lot, you're formatting, you're going through all that headache of getting it on Amazon, etc. And finally, it's released. And to hear that it is actually causing a change or causing an improvement in the lives of other people, that's the whole reason I wrote the thing. So thank you so much if you've actually sent in that message or that story. I would love to hear from you if any of the information actually helped you raise more money. That is why I wrote the thing. So thank you for doing that. And it's also, for me, this past year is actually the first time I've ever written a book. So in my own career, my own trajectory, it's something where this is something I want to be doing a lot more of in the future. I really am here to demystify crowdfunding and also other areas for you guys. And thank you for joining me on this journey. I really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get to today's interview style episode, and also particularly listen for the story of Phoebe and how she went from the restaurant industry to startups to never really having marketed before to launching a Kickstarter campaign, really going through lots of uncertainty, not knowing how to get the thing off the ground, and finally having a Kickstarter success story, having raised over $134,000 on the platform, with the proud winner of the CES 2017 Best of Innovation Award and proud finalist of Photonics 2017 Prism Award. It is coming up right after this. Phoebe, welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Where are you located also in the world?
We're in Northern California, actually, really close to San Francisco. We're in the Bay Area, so part of Silicon Valley.
Is it one of those like foggy days there? Is it rainy or is it like a nice day?
It's not. In the Bay Area today, it's beautiful and very, very sunny. So we had a lot of rain lately. Yeah, it's just beautiful right now.
Today it's a rainy day in Brooklyn, so I'm so jealous of that. And you were telling me before the show, so you actually listened to 1 or 2 episodes of the podcast.
2, actually, yes.
Cool. It's so weird.
In a day.
It's always so surreal to be able to talk with some of the listeners. And piece, also, I think it's really cool to know that, you know, you're coming on the show to share information that's helpful for the listeners. I really love that, you know, just took a second to sort of experience the show a little bit so you can be more helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And throughout just listening, the 2 episodes that I have, I think you have some really great stuff here. People are really willing to share their experience. There's nothing, you know, decorated about their experience. It's just, you know, down to the nitty gritty, which I really appreciate. I really wish I discovered your show before we launched the campaign. It would have helped tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just an ordinary guy here, like asking questions, you know, in my apartment here. Did you do any kind of learning then leading up to the launch of your campaign, or was this just like all impromptu?
Oh, yeah, it was last minute. We basically decided we're going to run with Kickstarter, and it was a month after our website launch. So everything got squeezed into about 3 months' time. So we launched Kickstarter without any knowledge.
Wow.
Yeah. Not recommended, but it works out sometimes. We just really got lucky.
So what is your role then at the company so the listeners can know?
Sure. I work in marketing. So Kickstarter, you know, going to CES and exhibiting at CES and taking care of all the Kickstarter and answering messages. That's me. You probably have dealt with me if you asked a question at Kickstarter.
Okay. And can you give the listeners an idea of what the product does? I know your product has raised a lot of money on Kickstarter. We're going to get into that later in the interview. But if you could just sort of describe to them what they can use this for.
Sure. So my company's product is called the IQ Personal Vision Tracker. Just like it sounds, it tracks your vision, but not your eye movement. It tracks something very specifically. That's your refractive error. So if you wear glasses, if you have distance vision, astigmatism, reading vision, you have some kind of refractive error in your eyes. And our product is a little hardware that kind of like sticks onto your phone. And with an application, you play a series of pretty simple games of overlapping lines, and by the end of the game, we can tell you what your refractive error is.
Okay, so normally you guys would have to go to an eye doctor, but now you can just use your smartphone.
Right. This should be used in conjunction of going to your eye doctor. We do think eye doctor plays a really, really big role in your eye health and maintaining that health. So this is kind of a supplementary product that you can use to track your eyesight, you know, within between visits, and if you know your eyes kind of have changed, you know, test it and then bring that information to your eye doctor and let them have that as a starting point.
So you can test your vision, and then if you want to, you can order glasses with those results. It sort of cuts down on a lot of time. I can totally see this like in a few years too, just making at-home vision like a normal thing. You know, vision care, really taking it to that next level. I can totally see that with this sort of trend here. Also, it looks like you got into the CES Innovation Award for 2017.
That's correct. We actually won Best in Show. So
nice.
We were so impressed too. We're just like, wow, judges are just fantastic. We're in awe.
Congratulations. Also a proud finalist of Photonics. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Photonics, yeah. astonished to have been nominated. It's, a really, really prestigious event for people in photonics industry, and for us to have like a, very, very affordable product that just came out on market to have been nominated, it was tremendous.
Do you think the actual campaign played into that nomination at all, or in that winning, or was this just, do you think the product was really good at that point?
So I think we won the award because we were in it for the innovation part of it, because there's nobody else like that in the market, which kind of is a blessing and a curse. I can get deeper into that later on, but we definitely have a very, very innovative product that is really useful as well for anybody that comes across it. So I think we were awarded the honor because of the innovation and the fact that we made this work into a real product.
It is really innovative, and I come to your campaign. I think the product is really cool. I think one of the hardest parts of running a campaign on Kickstarter is really conveying that to someone else. And pretty much this was kind of like put in your lap, like, hey, we're running a campaign in 1 month. You have to market it. I'm sure you must have been like freaking out a little bit.
Oh my goodness. Tell me about it.
Yeah,
we were definitely freaking out in the first little while. Like I was telling you earlier, we basically were like, okay, let's run this campaign. All right, everything is ready. Our story is set. Let's go. And we basically didn't have traffic for a few days, and everybody in the office were freaking out. We're like, oh my god, what is happening? We have a great product. We knew we had a really, really great product, so it was really hard for us to imagine that people wouldn't notice that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
did you do anything then pre-launch wise, or just pretty much like put it on Kickstarter?
Oh man, we did not do anything pre-launch. We were really banking on Kickstarter's organic traffic to notice us. We really knew very, very little going in. I didn't have any experience with crowdfunding, so this was really new to me as well.
When that happens and we don't really see the launch results that we want, even if I'm coming out with like a new product, for example, I don't see the results that I want, there's a very easy tendency to say like, okay, we should probably quit this, or we should probably cancel this campaign. But it doesn't seem like you did that. Like, it seems like that you had to retool something. And obviously at the end of the campaign period, you were successful. So what did you actually retool here?
So I think there are two things that we have done right that really helped us become successful and hold a very, very successful campaign. So one of those things is actually revisiting the campaign and just see, okay, does this still make sense? Does it make sense from a outsider's perspective? Is the message clear and easy to understand? Because we're a startup, we don't have a lot of money to hire, designers to design a really beautiful website and take professional pictures for us. So we basically did everything ourselves. So going back to that after some feedback and getting actual people that are interested to tell us, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, I don't understand this part, and reanalyzing it internally and changing the layout, I think it really clarified a lot of things. And even though it's still not perfect, it was a lot better at conveying what our product is and kind of what this can do for you as a user, a backer. So the second thing we did that I think played a bigger role was we reached out to a lot of other entities that helped us with the marketing of our product. So, for example, one of our favorite companies is actually the Gadget Flow. It's a sponsor of your show. We're not doing this as an ad, but we really did reach out to them because I have used their website in the past. So I was like, okay, well, here's an idea. If this is not going anywhere, let's talk to some companies that can help us and let's see how it goes. So after we talking to Gadget Flow, asking for some pricing and some information, they did not make a lot of promises. They basically just said, okay, we have a really, really large, viewer base. We can't guarantee results, but we will show you your product to this many viewers. So it's very reasonably priced. We decided to go in at a lower price level just to see how it goes because we literally had nothing to lose. We were so frustrated at that point. We're like, okay, let's give it a shot. And as soon as we did, we started seeing results. Backers were coming in, and our page view was jumping up almost immediately, and we were really happy with the results. So we upgraded to a I think the biggest package that they had with like what is it called? This very specific email that they sent to all of their subscribers, which was just so tremendously helpful. Like I know reading other marketing help for crowdsourcing for I guess like crowdsourcing campaigns. There's a lot of people out to scam you. Like we got thousands of messages on our
It's a real problem. It's a real problem. Lots of people sending messages on Kickstarter, promising things, etc., promising you the moon. Like it almost reminds you of like a new actor or actress comes to Hollywood and someone's like, "Yeah, you can get into the movies and be a star, kid." It's like that kind of messaging.
Exactly. And you don't nobody can actually promise you anything. They cannot validate those things, and by the end, you are sad and you're out money, and the opportunity cost, you can never get that back. Like time is limited in your campaign. You can only trial and error so many times. So we were just so lucky to have gotten the help from the Gadget Flow. Really, we're
What sort of sticks out to me here too is, so you basically, the first step was creating a better butterfly net, to actually capture these backers or visitors. You had to do a little bit of internal work, making sure that your messaging is good, making sure that you're presenting it in the way that's going to be most effective, etc. And then I guess you said here, okay, now we need to go out there and actually get and access these people who are interested in this kind of a product. And to be honest, there are a lot of ways to do this, guys. You can do this on Facebook ads. If you did any kind of pre-launch, you could have built an email list. There are services like the Gadget Flow, etc. There are a lot of ways to do this. So you decided to go with the Gadget Flow. So they sent out an email, from what I understand, to their newsletter. And that's pretty much the exact same thing you could do if you had put in a lot of pre-launch. But because you want more faster results, or because you just maybe didn't have the time to be able to do that, you decided to go with them. Do you have any metrics in terms of like the amount that they help you raise, or like the amount of traffic they sent you, anything like that?
I do have that. I wouldn't disclose too much of that here, but what I can tell you is one of the emails really triggered a gigantic event that is fresh in my memory. It's never going to go away, which is one of the days, one of the emails went out and we were able to get about 100 pledges within 2 hours. It was, we just started seeing the numbers go up. And that day, everybody, all of us in the office are glued to our seats, staring at that screen, looking at pledges come in. And before we knew it, at the end of that 2 hours, we were awarded, I think awarded is the wrong word, but we got the Project We Love badge from Kickstarter. And that in itself just pushed it way past the goal. We didn't foresee this happening, but we just are, just shocked, really, just shocked. It was awesome. It really, really was.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool too, because that you had put in the hard work to make this product. Like you had literally put in your hard time. You put in so many different hours to be able to make this product. And you're like, why is it that people don't recognize that? So I think you sort of had a broadcasting problem there that seems like you solved.
Yeah, luckily we did.
And that's also, I think, something where we have people who are listening to the show who are wondering. We have the Gadget Flow is one of the sponsors of this show, and they're sort of wondering what results to expect. And I just sort of want to preface this here, guys, that just because some campaigns do super well like this doesn't mean that every campaign will. But it is a legitimate service, worth looking into, worth learning a little bit more about, I think. And it's also, no one can really promise you the world here. The only way that you can really make sure that an investment is 100% going to be a great ROI is to do a little pre-launch and make sure that your product has an audience. It's kind of like the chicken and the egg here, but you have to make sure that people actually want your product in some way. Otherwise, you're not guaranteed that any kind of advertising is going to bring in revenue and backers. For you personally, as a marketer, what did you learn from this campaign that you would have applied to another one, or that you could have done going back and starting this?
Oh, yeah. That's a great question, Sal. So first of all, like you said, the pre-launch marketing is so important. Being able to gather a list of people that are interested in your product to begin with, kind of tipping their curiosity and just kind of making sure that people can stay tuned. There is a way to reach out back to you because, there's once they come to your website and they don't leave an email or, they don't leave any kind of contact information, they're gone forever. The web is just too big. There's no way to get them back. So having a pre-launch type of email ready to go, and also continue to change the marketing strategy that you're using. Like for us, we were actually using we use different services for crowdfunding marketing. We will go back and see how each one of them are doing and adjusting our budget and how much money we're putting into them. So, you have to really monitor your numbers, which I'm sure it's not really a problem if you're staring at the number of pledges every minute or two.
It can be really obsessive.
Yeah,
if you get a new backer, it's like checking my phone. Or it's like looking at those numbers, seeing how they're progressing or not progressing and freaking out. It can be a really roller coaster experience there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even if our project wasn't successful, we probably would have relaunched. That was being talked about in the beginning when things weren't working out, but we ended up just really sticking it out. And I think, with GadgetFlow's help, it was a good decision to continue.
Did you use any other kind of tools, marketing tools, or any kind of tools to get the word out? Like I know there are some social media tools out there. I don't know if you made use of any of those or anything like that.
Tools, not so much. I think we did. We used Facebook ads, which we thought was going to be really useful, but didn't really lead to much results. I think we probably didn't really reach the right people. I know that takes a lot of fine tuning. So and then we also used Google AdWords, which was just very slightly helpful, but again, did not bring us a lot of traffic and pledges in the end. So
it sounds to me almost like you're discovering who your backers are throughout this process, or you're discovering who your customers are, and you can use that information going forward to inform your marketing and even selling this on your website. Like I'm looking at your website here, looks really professional. Like this can be a very nice e-commerce store. Also, what did you use to actually set up your site?
Thank you. We set it up internally. So we have a designer here and engineers that actually made the entire website themselves.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that this could be a very great thriving e-commerce business. So you can use all that information and sort of apply it to that.
Yeah, we're learning as we go. It's never really a finished process. We are, as our store is, in selling our product right now, we are pushing harder on Google AdWords to lead people to our website and learning about remarketing and retargeting and different ads, different services. And, it's a learning experience for all of us.
Mm-hmm. I mean, also the fulfillment aspect, I imagine, is going to be a learning experience as well.
Yes, definitely. The fulfillment process is another monster in itself. Because our product is really affordable. It is really new. We wanted to introduce it to the market at a affordable price, which is $30 retail. Kickstarter, the super early bird special was $18. That was really a steal. So shipping, we ended up selling about 4,000 units, which was a lot.
That's a lot.
Yes. So I remember the day when Kickstarter's money came in, we had already about 2,000 addresses, the entire team in the office. We stood by some really, really long desks, and we had a bunch of our mini scopes and then packages and labels, and we had our own little assembly line. It was really incredible. But we basically just did the work internally and just shipped everything out.
How many people then were working on the campaign, or I guess working at the business?
So working at less than 10. So we have about 6, 7 right now at the moment.
And they're fulfilling these 4,000 orders.
Yes, it took many, many days.
Well, that's a lot of dedication, and I imagine a lot of organizational work too.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, when you have a good team, everyone has the same goal, which is to make the product and make the product successful and make sure that the users are happy. This is what we're willing to do.
Totally. And it totally shows also because Kickstarter is sort of a relationship building tool, or at least that's what I like to think of it as. If you fulfill all of these rewards, you then have a base of raving fans. You have all of these people who are leaving comments or are interested in another product you do if you do fulfillment successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't do it successfully, they will also tell you in no uncertain terms as well. So, I think another thing I've learned from this campaign is you got to keep up with the communication. People will leave comments and expect it to be reached out to. People who leave messages, they expect you to respond. If you don't respond, people get kind of angry. Like they're so invested in campaigns like this, they want to know what is happening. So if you don't respond, people feel like they're being left in the dark. So always make sure you're sending out updates and communicating effectively, and just always try your best to reach out and be honest. Of course, we're a tiny startup. We're bootstrapping our way through this process, and we're so thankful to have all this funding. At the same time, we're very limited in what we can do. So it was great when we can be transparent with the customers and just say, hey, you know what? Some packages are lost. Well, let me see what we can do about it. Or we just really don't support these phones, and let us know. We'll let you know the timeline and whatnot.
It's also more difficult because with your campaign, you sort of saw this huge influx of pledges. And I'm sure with that came all of these comments and, maybe not a lot of people seeing your updates. And then a lot of people are starting to notice your updates. So it's kind of like this halo effect where you all of a sudden have lots of people who are asking or wanting your time like that.
Yeah, it was flattering, definitely to kind of get that much attention. We really just we get really sad when people are not happy with what we're doing, because we just really want to make right by the people that supported us from the beginning, like the Kickstarter backers. So we try to not take it personally and just do the best we can.
Mm-hmm. It seems like a lot of your backers too are what I would term as super backers, or people who have backed many different campaigns. I'm looking at your stats here, around 3,000-ish of the people that supported your campaign are returning backers to Kickstarter. So these are regular members of the community. Looking through your comments, you have people saying, very impressed with this device. I have to admit, when I first tried it, I thought it was a bit of a gimmick that would never actually work. And then they go on to say that this was an excellent gadget. It's really great. So it's kind of cool that you seemed like you also got attention on the actual platform of Kickstarter.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's the internal the help from Kickstarter themselves. This is kind of what we were hoping for in the beginning, but we had to kind of get help from outside sources to achieve this goal. Because I think once again, the product itself is retails for $30, so you probably would have gotten it for $20 to $25. So it's very affordable for anyone. It's kind of like an impulse buy, it's $25, I'll back it. And we actually delivered very quickly. We delivered ahead of schedule, which was, something I'm very proud of.
I'm looking too at some of the other comments. Some people will say oh, this thing doesn't work out. And then the same guy says, oh, I was too quick to comment. I did an uninstall and reinstall and did the trick. So you're always going to have to deal with people like this who you sort of have to hold their hand as they're going about testing your product, as they're going about backing your campaign, and sort of walk them through this process. It's a very interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, that's I guess the beauty of of having a product that is so new and so innovative. A process, it just has never been set up for something like this. We're really entering unknown waters here. It's not like a hardware where here you go, here's a pen. You give me your money and here's a pen. You can use it. Nobody knows how to use this specific product, so there's a learning curve, but we did notice with a lot of users, after their first time, the second time becomes so much easier, and the third time is just a breeze, and the numbers become more accurate as they use it. We knew this, and they become very happy with the results. But the first time, you're not going to get a good result, and we know that, and we kind of try to encourage people to continue using it. So we're, again, still learning and perfecting the instructions and perfecting some of the tips and whatnot. Those are our next biggest step.
What what I really connect with you here too, and what I also just really love is the fact that you're honest about it. You're honest about the fact that you guys, yeah, you made a great product, but you're still continuing to improve it. You're still continuing to educate your users. You're still continuing to grow as a startup. And I think that honesty is really in line with the values of Kickstarter, the values that I promote, with my brand, etc. So I love that you guys also are an example of that. I am curious here, where, in terms of your own career as a marketer, like where does this fall in? What were you doing any kind of marketing of products like this before? What about your story here?
Oh man. So I actually don't have a lot of marketing experience. This is my first startup as well. I was in restaurants before this, in operations management. So this is kind of not the same thing. I'm learning everything from scratch as well. I thankfully have a very good team that is helping me through. The similarities between this and restaurant is you just jump in and you get your hands dirty. You do whatever it takes to get things right. You have a goal and you work towards it. So that's kind of the similarities, but jumping in without a lot of knowledge and just basically doing research online was, it was helpful to a certain degree.
Did you have any mentors or any books that you specifically read to sort of help you get into the startup realm?
Well, the startup realm, the Lean Startup,
I love that
definitely
book.
Was very helpful. Eric Ries. I think other ones, Positioning by Al Ries. I don't think they're related, just have the same last name. That was really helpful in terms of understanding the market. I think just from reading that book, I know this specific product is going to do very well because it's helpful and it's innovative and it's so new. There's nothing else in this category. So,
when that you made that leap from restaurants to startups. Like, what actually prompted that? Because those are two very different industries, and definitely the management abilities I think you might apply from restaurants to startups. Actually, that actually lines up really well because it is so chaotic. You're trying to schedule so many things. But what actually made that leap for you?
Just wanting to do something more, for the world and making a bigger dent in the universe. I think I could do very well in restaurants, but I'm limited to that industry. But being a marketer and going into a startup and being in tech, like, first of all, the product will reach so many more people. I will be learning a ton more skills that's applicable and transferable to different situations. And that kind of was, when I first heard of IQ, I just thought, I wear glasses. I wish something like this existed. Like, I would really love to use it. And from there on, I'm hooked.
I think we all have that desire too, to be able to sort of go beyond ourselves and add something to the world or to impact the world in just a positive way. And I think a lot of the listeners sort of empathize with that we might be doing a full-time job or we might be doing something that doesn't fulfill us really. And we're looking to do something more and also bring others on the path, as we do that. So it's really cool to me that you were willing to take that leap, which is actually really hard to do, very frightening. And it's like, other people might ease into this process and you guys went out and launched a Kickstarter campaign.
Yep. It was pretty crazy, but with risk comes reward, right?
Yeah. And ironically, too, doing this type of campaign, it really compresses the learning into a very short time frame. It's almost like a crash course in marketing.
Yeah, exactly. You got to learn everything really fast. Otherwise, you just can't perform. There's no way around it.
So going forward here, what is your company looking at in terms of, are you going to be doing more products like this? Are you going to be going back to Kickstarter at all? Talk to me a little bit about the vision you guys have for the company.
Sure. So the company's mission is to, yes, the vision of the company is to elevate eye care globally. So on a global level, this product being very affordable is, it can be used in many, many different areas. So we definitely want to continue to innovate within this area of vision care, health, eye care, eye health. We definitely have a new product in the works, and we are going to probably have another Kickstarter campaign in the fourth quarter this year. There's my fingers crossed. And on the other, on a different note, because this product is so affordable and can work with any, most smartphones, even in developed areas. We would like to start expanding globally and even involving in different charities. So we did partner with a charity during our Kickstarter campaign called 2 Billion Eyes. They're a nonprofit based in Netherlands. They provide glasses to schools in Kenya. And we, developed a very good relationship and have donated 3% of our Kickstarter proceeds to them. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
Doing good. Talking about doing good.
That's awesome. I love that mission. I think if you guys do go back to Kickstarter in the fourth quarter, you have a tremendous amount of social proof here, and I think that could really make a great PR story. I have a course on on PR coming out shortly, and looking at all of these different awards that you've won, looking at the fact that you've raised over 6 figures on Kickstarter, nearly 4,000 backers, that is a great PR story. So I think that with this next campaign, you as the marketing front, you're going to have a lot to work with, like a lot of good stuff to work with to get PR hits and also just convince people to pay a bit of attention to watch the video, the new one.
Yes, everybody would need some PR help. Everyone.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing a little bit of information about your story, about the product, about the gadget flow. Definitely something that I think readers and listeners should check out and look into. And I appreciate you also just being more transparent about how your campaign went, all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm going to let you have the last word here. If you could think back to Phoebe when she just was told from her boss, like, we're going to be launching this campaign in a month, what would you communicate to her, or what would you share with her? Could be a word of encouragement, could be advice, anything along those lines.
I would tell myself to start marketing before the campaign. If there's anything I could have done differently, I probably would have started generating interest before the launch. It would have made our process so much better and faster.
Great. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I'll have to have you back with the next campaign, and I look forward to watching your progress.
Thank you so much, Sal.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Again, my name is Sal. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do want to look into the gadget flow, you can go to crowdcrux.com/thegadgetflow. That is crowdcrux.com/thegadgetflow. And these guys have been a sponsor of my podcast, I think, for at least a year. I've known Evan for a while. I've watched him build up this really great marketplace he has of thriving buyers, people that are interested in Kickstarter-esque products. And I got to hand it to him. He's done a great job. He has a lot of great offerings also for you if you're doing a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo campaign. So you can go and check out some of the details there around their promotions. I have one other announcement for you before you go. But in order to share this, I really have to take you back to 2012. Because 2012 is when I first got into the crowdfunding industry. And when I was first getting in, my philosophy was just put out lots and lots of free stuff. And the reason was there was no information out there. Like, I was one of the first people who was sharing free blog articles, free information about crowdfunding, having these LinkedIn groups, having Google+, etc., Kickstarterforum.org. We have crowdfundingforum.com. A lot of the core bedrock resources that a beginner can use to get their foot in the door and really start to at least have a strategy for launching a crowdfunding campaign. That was my entire goal here. And we did that. We accomplished it. But I started to feel like, while yes, we were reaching lots and lots of people, while yes, there was tremendous breadth to what we were doing, there wasn't that level of depth that I wanted. I felt almost unfulfilled in some ways as a guy. And it's kind of weird to admit that, but I felt like I wasn't having as significant of an impact as I wanted to in this industry. I thought of what my ideal life or what my vision might be, and I looked to myself in the future, and it's really being able to say that these people, these people who I've helped along the way have produced massive value. They've created jobs. They've gone on to create inventions. They've really changed the world. I want to be able to trace that back to the results that I've produced. And it's kind of similar and almost in the same light as the way that Kickstarter kind of does it. They talk about the jobs they've created, et cetera, with the different projects. I want to be able to do the same thing. We talk about the vision that you have for your life, and vision really is just the opposite of a story. Your story is your past. Your story is the things that you've done and the obstacles you've overcome and who you've actually had to become to overcome all of these different things. Your vision, though, is the story that you want to live out in the future. And for me, I think the vision that I've always wanted has been to significantly impact people and create results, to create real change, to really be able to track back and say, like, yes, this core group of people, these students enacted these changes in the world. And that was sort of the bedrock principles behind making this course, which I just released on PR. This is the complete crowdfunding PR system, which is now live at the time I am recording this podcast. That was sort of my idea with the course, and having tested it with a lot of different people in my audience, getting feedback, reworking some of the videos, adding different bonuses and other content in, this has been an incredible experience for me. I'm growing with you. We are both growing towards learning this entire changing industry, and it is changing very quickly, about crowdfunding, online marketing, etc. And I've learned just a tremendous amount, and I shared it all in this course for you. This is really for you if you're just starting out and you want to get into the media. This is also for you if you're maybe more of an established campaigner, you're an established crowdfunder, you've raised money successfully, but you're not leveraging the PR aspect of your campaign to its fullest potential. Like, yeah, maybe you raise money, but you can do so much more with that story. There is untapped potential there. The videos that I've put together for you in this training program, all the other resources are going to be completely available to you, and I'm going to walk you through this entire process of getting media hits, of really elevating your brand, getting instant traffic and instant results with this program that I've put together, and I am very proud of it. Until this, let me look at the date here, until the 17th at 11:59 p.m. I have this all written down. You will have access to a certain bonus, which I'm very pleased to be able to present to you. Basically, if you enroll before this time, Friday Eve, you will gain access to my previous course, How to Smash Your Kickstarter Goal. And this course has gotten a lot of great reviews. People have loved it. I have a bunch of testimonials there we can check out, along with my previous products and other bonuses I'm including in this offering, but it's only going to be available until the end of Friday. So if you are actually interested in this and getting the bonuses, getting access to all of those, you have to act before Friday. And the link there is crowdcrux.com/PR. That is crowdcrux.com/PR. You can get all of the details there. You can look more into this course, all of the different components that I've put together, etc. And in addition, if you're not interested in the bonuses, that's fine. I will be closing the entire course next week on Wednesday. So you have until then to act if you're not interested in any of the free bonuses or anything like that. Thank you so much for joining me here on this podcast. I hope you got a lot of value out of it, and I look forward to continuing to serve you in the future.